the personal side of trucking is gradually disappearing from our industry, and that bothers me. And let's face it, let's be honest, these days an awful lot of carriers would replace you as a driver with a robot if they possibly could and get away with it. Drivers are just becoming tools for the carriers to use, and I bemoan that fact. But we may be truly the last generation of truck drivers. We may be replaced by these autonomous trucks, and that's kind of a sad thing. But trucking is a business, and businesses capitalize on opportunity. So here we are, maybe the last generation of truck drivers, and there's opportunity to be seized here because our window of opportunity may be closing. And I believe that this is the time now to capitalize on the money that we make, because they may not need us a generation from now, but certainly they need us now more than ever before. The economy's booming, there's a driver shortage, they need us, and now's the time to jump on this, and that's why I'm always harping about the wages, because we may not get another kick at the cat the next generation down the road. This is our time, and maybe our last chance to make decent money again as truck drivers. And as I said before, the carriers now are just looking at drivers as tools of the trade. So with that in mind, how useful a tool are we going to be to the carrier? And the carriers break this down when they look at us now. They don't see people anymore for the most part. They see a guy and they pull up a picture of the guy in their minds or on the screen and go, okay, how cooperative is this guy? Is he willing to take a load of dog doo-doo to shithole New York when we ask him to, or is he going to complain and fight? How reliable is this driver? Does he do his deliveries on time, or is this guy a seducer of the canine and kind of gets there when he gets there? And or is this guy, when they pull up a picture of you, do they see Village Idiot flash across their screen? And sadly, a lot of these trucking companies these days think of their drivers as idiots, and they treat them accordingly. And let's be painfully honest here. You've got a group of guys that are working twice as many hours as the dispatcher, away from home, and making half the take-home pay of the average dispatcher anymore. So no wonder we look like idiots. We're willing to work twice as hard for half as much in a lot of cases. And that's my biggest problem with it, because I know the trucking is way harder than the dispatching. But why are those guys getting paid more? It's because we've allowed it to happen. We need to reevaluate our stock as drivers. And you've heard me say this before, and I'll say it again. They need us more than we need them. So let's take a step back here and reevaluate our position. We're in a strong business position for bargaining power. We need to take advantage of that right now and not waste any more time doing it, because our time may well be running out. So you've heard me argue for being paid by the hour, at least when you're at the docks or stuck in traffic. It's just got to happen. We've all heard from dispatch, oh, do me a favor. You can't allow favors. This is business. If the dispatcher wants you to perform a service for him, the dispatcher has a need for this service. So you need to be sure that he's paying you for this service you're about to perform. No, there are no favors in business. It's dollars and cents every time. And don't accept any of this, oh, I'll slide you a little something on the side. Boy, I've heard that line more than a few times. No sliding me on the side. What is this going to pay me for my time and my effort? And establish that right away. Establish the fact that you just don't do freebies and none of this fly by the seat of your pants stuff. Everything you do, you want to be paid for. And it's pretty simple to establish that fact. And your carrier will get to know this about you after a little while. And believe it or not, he may not like it, but your value, your stock price, will go up in his estimation because he knows that you don't do stuff for free. And that's the way it should be. Something else we need to do is establish a relationship with middle management as drivers, because oftentimes it stops at the dispatch level, and that's not right. You need to establish with the dispatch bosses and the managers, the warehouse managers or the freight managers, terminal managers, who you are. They need to know you and know what you're about. And then the dispatchers, if the dispatchers treat you poorly, you just need to be able to have a contact above their head where you can go and say, hey, this is happening to me. This isn't right. I'm willing to work. I just want to be paid for the work that I'm doing. You need to be able to move beyond that step. And it's always a good thing to have upper management know who you are rather than just a number, and try to get some of this personality back in trucking, because people are still driving the trucks. And a lot of the good companies still recognize this, but a lot of the bad companies don't. They don't care about the people aspect of it anymore. They just see you as a tool to be used. And you've got to get them out of that mindset and establish yourself as a person that is treated fairly by the company that you're working for. You're not asking for very much. You're simply asking to be paid for your time and to be treated like a person. And there's nothing out of the way about that. So as a driver, you need to focus at this point on being the best driver that you can possibly be, because that will put your stock up in the estimation of the carrier, and then they may feel or come to the conclusion that absolutely you're worth more money than the average guy or the rest of the fleet or whatever. You don't really care about the rest of the fleet and how they pay the rest of the fleet, what these guys are doing. This isn't a union mentality deal here anymore. Unions are gone from the trucking industry. You need to take care of yourself. So if you establish yourself as a cut above a guy that's willing to go the extra distance for the company, but you're still asking to be paid for it, you'll go up in their estimation, and you'll earn better money, because they'll make sure they pay you better, because they don't want to lose you. Because professional truck drivers, good professional truck drivers, are as rare as hen's teeth anymore. So, and the big carriers certainly know that. You need to establish yourself as one of those guys. And don't waste any more time. You've got to go about it quickly, because, as I say, there may not be another generation of professional truck drivers after we're gone. Kind of a sad thought, but now's the time. Make hay while the sun shines. Be careful out there, and I will see you on the back haul.